Welcome to 11 plus nonverbal reasoning. This is test 14. So in the grid below, one square has been left empty. Look at the 5 squares below and decide which one completes the grid in the best way. So you've got to choose one picture. So if you look at this particular example question here in front of us now, we've got a square which is split up into small 4 squares, so 4 grids here. We've got a normal X, we've got a bold X, we've got a normal circle, and what's going to come here is naturally going to be a bold circle. So this way, B is our answer. Let's go to our main question and see what the patterns are here for us to actually work out how to work out these particular questions. So let's start from the top left-hand side here, the top left grid. So here we've got an arrow pointing to the left. Now, bottom left. So in this case, we've got an arrowhead in bold and we've got a circle. In our right square, we've got this same arrowhead pointing to the bottom left with a bold circle and a bold arrowhead. But this time around, this particular arrow is bigger than this original arrow. Can you see? So this first arrow and this second arrow, they're exactly the same. The only difference is the second arrow here on the top right-hand side is bigger than the top left-hand side. So that's one pattern. Let's have a look at the arrowhead, the separate arrowhead. So this arrowhead here that's facing to the bottom right has a black arrowhead and it has 2 lines on the base of the arrow. Okay, so if we turn here to the right square, it's the same arrow, but this time around the arrowhead is not in bold. All right, it's a different arrowhead here, but you've still got the same 2 lines on the top left-hand side as well. So these are 2 different patterns, remember? Okay, so what are we going to do now? So let's go to the bottom left-hand square here. Now here we have an arrow facing to the right, okay, with 3 baselines here and a plain arrowhead. All right, that's perfectly fine. So that means that we're going to have an arrow that's also facing this way to the right side as well, okay? So this arrow here will be placed here facing to the right, okay? So there should be an arrow facing to the right here in this direction. Okay, so any arrow that's not facing to the right, we can just cross them out, okay? So let's try this first of all. Let's cross out this one, because we don't have any arrow here facing to the right. Let's cross out this one. There's no arrow here facing to the right. So remember, the plain arrow, the white arrow here, just becomes plain. So you're just going to have an arrow here. It will look something like this. And obviously it will have the 3 stripes at the end as well. Okay. So, and that's why do we face that pattern? Because remember here, we've got a bold arrow and then we've got a plain arrow head, bold arrowhead and a plain arrow head. Now we're going to look for a plain arrowhead here. So this has to be a plain arrowhead. All right. So that rules this out. So let's cross this out. That means there's only 2 left. So we need a plain arrowhead and we need 3 lines here at the end. That means it rules out option E as well. So in this case, just by looking at one arrow, just by looking at one example, we've worked out that B is going to be the correct option. Okay, just in case if this has gone over your head and you haven't quite understood, please just rewind or go back at the beginning of this video and have a look again at the small different traits or patterns that you can actually see from these particular questions that we're covering as well. Okay, and good luck with the rest of the questions. And don't worry if it's too hard, we'll go through these in the class individually one by one. Thank you.